Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a hodgepodge of a video where I take you to a fair, we do a life update, and we do a garden update. And so it's really a bunch of odds and ends, but the way the summer is going, that's the content that we're going with. So today we are headed to the Topsom Fair, which runs until tomorrow, and there is a demolition derby tonight. There's truck pulls and horse pulls and all kinds of stuff going on, and we are mostly going for the food. If you watched my video from a couple years ago when we went to Freiburg Fair, we made the entire trip pretty much about food. So we're gonna get a bunch of fair food tonight too. And this is also Teddy's first ever fair. He's never been to one. And we weren't planning on going to one until Freiburg, but this one was happening and we just thought, it's close by, we'll just head there for the night and have a good time. We're going with our friends Lindsay and Evan and their daughter Amelia. So they've been in past videos with us too, so you guys will probably remember them. But yeah, that's what we're doing tonight. I'm just gonna get some footage of that, and then we're gonna go into a life update after this, and I will update you on everything that's been going on. There's been a lot of changes this summer, just a lot of things happening, and honestly, like, way too much precipitation. So we'll talk through all of that after this, but for right now, we're heading to the fair. I got a lemonade.
Am I allowed to eat it?
Yeah. That looks good. Evan, the burger. Tell us.
Solid 7 out of 10, especially for a fair. It's up there.
Okay. And the lemonade is, ours is not lemonade-y enough. Lindsay's is lemonade-y.
It's really good. Baked potato. I'd give it an 8. Probably be better with like some chives on it.
Okay.
You know what would do better for the fries? Bacon.
We got bacon. They forgot the bacon.
But you got bacon on the potato.
Yeah, she was thinking of herself, Evan. Just kidding.
Obviously.
Brandon, how was your cheese dog?
Cheese dog was okay. I'd give it a 4 out of 10.
Ooh, a low
wasn't
That's
rating.
rough.
It barely stayed in the bun.
You're gonna put that place out of business.
Barely stayed in the bun. Cheese was good. I mean, it's just your basic cheese sauce, but it wasn't great.
Okay.
It was not great.
We're behind the crowd.
We made it.
That's all
What a
right.
great derby.
We didn't make it. We're
We do
not
have
even
some
in the
more bus
stands.
drawings
can't see it
tomorrow. I think there's going to be more. Number 2,
Well, it's just a heat.
time number 01, Mike Sprague out of Lisbon. And when you see Sean looking into the car, he is checking for a helmet and he is checking to make sure the seatbelt works. So they must have a seatbelt that works and a helmet on. And be brave. Five, four, three, two, one, go! Smash 'em! Last car moving that Sean says, as it did the last hitting, is going to leave with $1,000 cash and a 3-foot tall trophy. And the runner-up will go with a $100 bill and the smaller trophy. Yeah, his hands are out of the car, and that's why Sean shut him down. You cannot put your hands out of the car, or you'll be without it.
All right, my guy's still, he's doing good. He's doing good. You're 300? Yeah, I'm the 300. There he goes, right in the middle. Oh, man. Oh, man. Okay, okay. There he goes. Lindsay, what'd you get?
I got a chocolate.
Oh, apple. I got a caramel. Evan didn't get anything.
No. good.
Brandon didn't get anything either. But we're gonna go get an ice cream waffle.
I'm dieting.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. Let's go see the sheep. Ma.
Oh.
Annie.
Oh. Hi, babies. Oh, they are babies. They were born this year. Alright guys, so let's sit down and chit chat for a little bit of a life update. I hope you guys enjoyed my footage from the fair. It was one of the only things that we have done this summer with all of the rain that we've been having here. I don't know where you guys are watching from, but this has been like the rainiest summer on record. I don't remember a single summer, even as a kid, where we had this much rain. It was literally all of June and part of July. And then right after the rain, we got like scorching heat and terrible humidity. Like the weather has just been not enjoyable. So we're finally coming out of it, and it was just nice to be able to go out as a family and do something finally for once. We just had such a good time with our friends. It was a really great night. So hope you guys enjoyed watching that. And now I just want to chit chat, get you guys caught up on everything that's been going on with our lives. I last did an update back in the spring when I was planting my seed starters, and I kind of just went over parenting and how all that stuff was going. And I don't usually do life updates this close together, but there's been a lot that has happened since that video. Also, I wanted to be able to get some content up on the channel because, as I just mentioned with the weather, it's been lacking this summer. There just really hasn't been much to film, and I feel like my channel is just like plummeting in regards to content. So I just wanted to get on here and make something for you guys, get something up. Let me get into this update. I have a list on my phone of all the things I want to touch upon. So first, the elephant in the room, this room. This is obviously not our master bedroom, which you guys might be wondering, why the heck is your bed in here? Why are your end tables in here? What is going on? And that's because I am currently sitting in what used to be my guest room and what is now my new bedroom. So back in mid-July, we had a huge shift in our living situation, and my grandmother actually moved in with us. She is at a point in her life where living alone just really wasn't an option at this time for her, and we needed a place for her to go and live comfortably and safely. We ended up being the best option for her. It was kind of between my home and my mom's, and she needed a place where she could move around the home easier. And my mom's house has a lot of stairs. The bathroom is like upstairs where the shower is and stuff, and so accessibility wise, their house was just really not ideal for her. So we ended up moving her in with us, and because of that, we had to put her on the ground floor of our home, which the only bedroom downstairs was the master. And so we decided that we would just move up to this secondary bedroom, which, if you guys have watched some other videos, I've done videos in here before. And this was initially a guest room, and then it was a storage room for a while. It had my crafting stuff in it. It's just kind of been a catch-all room. To be completely honest with you, the timing just worked out really well because we were about to transition Teddy from his pack and play in our room into his nursery. That was kind of my goal for the fall, was to get him into his nursery. We built him such a beautiful nursery, and he really hasn't used it at all. And I felt like it was time to get him accustomed to his own space. But I was very nervous about it because our previous bedroom was downstairs across the house from the nursery, and so the idea of just moving him up there away from us was kind of freaky. So this actually worked out really well. It was a silver lining for sure that we could move up here and be literally next door. His room is on the other side of this wall. That has made that transition so much easier for us. And honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I really like this room. It fits our vibe so well. It matches the bedding, like nothing really had to be changed. We did have to remove my big bureau and put it out in our landing, which wasn't the best, but our tall dresser, the black one that I did for Brandon's clothes, is in here off to the side over here, and then obviously our bed and end tables fit in here great. This room doesn't have a closet, but there is one in the hallway, and then we also have the attic space if we need to hang like any bulky things, that can all be hung right in there. So we are making it work. My grandmother has been here now for just over a month, and it's actually been really nice to have somebody else here with me during the day. She helps me entertain the baby and kind of watches him while I get stuff done. So that's taken a little bit of that stay-at-home mom burden off of me and allowed for me to get more things done, including work during the day. So it's just been really nice. My Nana and I have always had a very, very close relationship ever since I was little. She's been almost like a parent figure instead of a grandparent, and it's nice to be able to help her now, and also for her to get to spend time with her great-grandson, who she didn't really get to see as much before. So the arrangement is working out just fine, but I felt like I had to tell you guys because obviously I'm not filming in our downstairs room anymore. You guys are gonna probably wonder like what the heck happened. So moving on from that, I just talked about how Teddy's now in his nursery, so that was a big change for him. And then he has been hitting just so many milestones lately. It's actually insane. We've moved into eating solid foods quite often. He has bottom teeth, so he has the two middles are like in, and then he's got one on either side of those that are now coming in. So he's cutting teeth like crazy, and he's learning to chew his food really well now. He's mashing up stuff that we're giving him. He's tried shepherd's pie, he's tried pasta. He really, really, really loved the pasta. He has been trying some veggies and just like different like real foods, you know, not purees. And he's still having his purees and his yogurt and his oatmeals and stuff like that, but he's just been really exploring so many new foods lately, which has been so fun. He also is on the verge of crawling and also on the verge of walking at the same time. He is so busy, so mobile, constantly moving around, wanting to just climb up on stuff. He's pulling himself up on stuff now. We just recently got him a playpen, and he's learning to pull himself up on the sides of that. He also is figuring out a lot of his toys and how they work, and really picking out his favorite toys now. He's able, like with his motor skills, he's really like fine-tuning all of that now, which is really cool to watch, but also alarming because it's happening so quickly. And especially with him being on the verge of like walking, like he literally takes steps, we hold his hands, he takes steps across the floor. We need to baby-proof this house. That'll be a big project this fall. We're gonna be redoing our stairs because they're very unsafe. As you guys have probably seen in other videos, we're aware, don't worry. That's been a long-standing goal, is to get that done this fall. And then just getting other stuff to baby-proof the house. You know, we live in an old farmhouse, so it's like we can't 100% baby-proof everything. We would have to bubble wrap the house, but we are gonna get some locks for some doors, and cabinet locks are a big one. We'll be getting a gate for around the wood stove to keep him away from that, because obviously that's in the middle of the kitchen, so we don't want him going near there. We'll be doing like a gate around the stairs and stuff like that, but I'm just nervous. I mean, I know there's gonna be points where he like takes a tumble and gets hurt, like it's all part of him growing and learning, but I'm gonna try and prevent as many things as I possibly can. We also are going to be planning his first birthday soon, which is so fun. I've already started making decor for it. I've been making, you know, I made the invitations. I've made some like little decorative pieces that we're going to have printed. I have some ideas for like a banner. I know exactly like what I want to do, but we haven't done any of the big decorations yet. But that is a goal of mine, to have it done early, because his birthday is in December. It's shortly before Christmas, and as we know, the holidays are crazy. And I don't really want to be doing holiday stuff and birthday stuff at the same time. I want to have it all done ahead of time. We did book a space for his birthday just because by that point our whole house is going to be decorated for Christmas, and I really want to separate his birthday from Christmas. I don't want him to feel like it's all combined every year, and because it's his first birthday, it's going to be a little bit more of a done up, bigger party, and so I want to make sure that we really like dedicate a space to it. So we are going to be leaving the house. I can't say for future years what the plan is, but as of right now, that's what we're doing. And I'm just really excited to plan it. You guys know I love planning. I love party planning. And so I'm going to do a whole video on it and show you guys everything I'm doing. And that'll be an upcoming video this fall. So stay tuned for that. An update on my breastfeeding, pumping journey for those of you guys that are interested. I am currently weaning down to nothing. I froze a bunch of milk for a trip that we are going to be taking, which I'm going to get to after this, but it was time. I think, you know, I think I could have made it to a year with pumping, but like I said, we are taking a vacation very shortly here, and I just felt like the timing worked well, that I didn't want to have to be constantly pumping on vacation and dumping it. Again, I'll explain in a minute. He is very content on his formula. We've been supplementing with that for a long time now, and he's completely fine with it. It's kind of bittersweet because, like, I don't know, I've been doing it for so long, you know, like pumping is part of my daily routine, but I've been cutting way back lately to wean, and let me tell you, the freedom that I now have to do just whatever during the day and not have to stop every few hours to pump, I forgot how much I liked that. So while I'm kind of sad, I'm also just like feeling my freedom coming back, and I just really have no regrets in that regard. So that is where we're at with that. Which brings me to the main reason that I decided to wean down was we are going on a vacation. So this is our first vacation since having a baby, obviously. He's 8 months old now, so it's been 8 months of being with him nonstop, and we felt it was time to take a vacation, just the two of us alone. I'm very nervous. I'm so excited. I don't want anyone to get it twisted. Like, I am very excited, but I'm also so nervous. We are heading back down to Disney in a few days from me filming this. We will be leaving Teddy with my mom, so he'll be with her for 4.5-ish days total. It's not a long trip, but man, I am just going to feel so weird without him. We talked about bringing him on the trip, but we just feel he's a little bit too young still, and the first time we take him to Disney, we want him to somewhat understand what's going on, so I think we are gonna wait until he's just about 3 years old, just before he turns 3, to bring him to Disney. So he will not be on this trip with us. It's an adult trip. If you guys have been watching me for a long time, you know that Brandon and I are Disney adults. I said it. We love Disney World. We just get so much joy out of it, and we couldn't think of a better place to take a break from being parents. It's gonna be weird, but it's gonna be so much fun. I'm actually filming after this our merch video for our Millennial Cruiser channel. So if you don't know, we have a vacation channel where we do vlogging for that. So if you guys are interested, it'll be linked below, and you guys can go on over and see the merch that we got, see past trips, and see the upcoming trip that we're about to go on. We'll have videos up of that too. So I don't know, I'm like so really excited. It's gonna be so weird though. I've written like a literal guide for my mother to leave with her, so she'll be here with my sister, and then my grandmother obviously is here too, so several people will be here with him, all the pets, you know. I think he's gonna do just fine. He absolutely adores my mom and loves my sister and loves my grandmother, so he's gonna have a good time, I think. He's gonna be a very spoiled little boy while we're gone, and we're gonna FaceTime with him and stuff, but oh my goodness, this is gonna be weird without him. And I was saying to Brandon, like, I'm going to sleep so soundly, but I'm also probably gonna jolt awake in the middle of the night thinking like, where is he? What is going on? You know, it's just like so routine now. So the final thing I want to touch upon in this life update is my garden, because I had all these videos planned for this summer and we didn't end up filming any of them because, as I mentioned before, it just rained and rained and rained. So I want to give you a little update of what happened with it, where it's at now. I actually filmed a garden update, so I'm going to cut to that so you guys can see where the plants are at. I filmed that like a week ago now, 2 weeks ago, so they are a little bit past that point now. The garden has changed a little bit since then, but it's still pretty relevant. Basically in June, I had just planted everything. We had a bout of really sunny, nice weather the first week after I planted on Memorial Day, and then it started to rain. It was so devastating. I was so upset because I had such high hopes for my garden this year, and the rain essentially drowned my garden. My cucumber seeds rotted out. Quite a few did actually, because of how wet it was just constantly. The temperatures also were not super warm, and they just a lot of stuff failed to germinate. So I ended up replanting at the end of June and had stuff come up then, and the weather did improve at that point, so it wasn't as bad. So we do have a little something something, but it was just not the garden that I wanted this year. I was just so sad. First, my starters didn't do well, so I direct plant, and we have like the rainiest summer on record. And I know I'm not alone. I know a lot of people's gardens are really behind this year, and like nobody had that good of a yield, but it was just still such a bummer because it was one of my personal projects that I wanted to work on just for me, was that garden, and I just wish that the weather had been better. But we did get some stuff, you know, some stuff is still growing strong right now in the garden. I got all that footage, so I'm going to cut to that tour now for you guys to see. Alright guys, here we are for the garden tour. I absolutely love watching these on YouTube, and I find them very relaxing, so I'm going to try and make this one relaxing too. So it's the evening, it's golden hour right now. I just figured this was a good time to show all of the progress. So this is the overall of the garden. And I'm just going to start right in the front over here with these first plants. So these are actually 2 cherry tomato plants, as you can see here. They are finally out and about and just waiting on them to ripen. There's a bunch of like groups of them everywhere. These did really well last year, and so I'm not surprised they're doing well this year. They're just a little bit behind, as you're gonna see with the whole garden. We had such an absurd amount of rain in June that I had to do a lot of replanting, and it put me about a month behind. So, but these are the 2 that I planted here, and then there was supposed to be 1 here. But as you're about to see, it didn't come up here, it came up in another spot, which is over here. And I think that the rain might have washed the seeds down over here a little bit. But as you can see, this plant came up and is doing great. It's actually really big. It extends over there. We're gonna get a lot off of this one too. This group right here. It's pretty big. You're also gonna notice that my garden's overrun with weeds, and let me tell you, I have weeded this thing so many times this summer, and the rain just keeps coming and the weeds keep growing. So please excuse that. It's not the cleanest looking garden at the moment. So I'm actually behind my cherry tomato plant now, and this is the cucumber. It's the only one that unfortunately came up this year. I wish we had gotten more, but that's okay. We will take what we can. I harvested 1 today from that little nub right there, but we have this one right there, which should be ready in a couple of days, I would say. These are pickling cucumbers, so they don't get huge. I prefer to pick them when they're a little bit on the smaller side. I just like the crunchier cucumber. And this one right here. And I just have it with a piece of fencing around as kind of acting like a trellis, and then I've got a stake, a 2-foot stake here, just holding up where this kind of grew out to the side. I didn't want it extending too much out. I wanted it to grow upward, so I put it up like that. So that is the cucumber. Unfortunately, none of the other cucumbers came up, and this is actually round 2 of planting. Cucumber seeds do not like moisture, and I believe they kept rotting out. I think that that's what was happening. They weren't able to germinate properly, but this one finally took. And it's been doing okay, so I'll take it. And then right next to it is my carrots. So there's actually 2 here, so if I get low, you can see there's 2 here, and then there's a very little one next to it here. And these again haven't done as well as I was hoping. I harvested 1 carrot already that came up in a different spot, and it didn't do great, but these look kind of promising, so we will see. These are pretty close to being ready to harvest, so I'm crossing my fingers that they are big enough to do something with. Then right over to the left here, we have my marigolds, and this type of marigold I believe is the African marigold, and they actually bloom late. So while these don't look successful, they will be. They're gonna bloom late summer, early fall. And they're pretty tall. If I step back, like this one is like 2 feet tall. This one's a little bit smaller. There's actually 2 here. But I'm excited to see these bloom. I'll have to come back and show you what they look like. I've never done marigolds before, and I've never had marigolds grow like this. So we had to do some research when they came up and they weren't flowers. Like I was waiting for them to be flowers, but I guess they just bloom really late. Now if I pan over here, these are the sunflowers, which are looking a little bit sad at this point. They are mostly past, but as you can see, I have quite a few here that have not yet bloomed. So sunflowers are far from over, but a few of them have obviously bloomed and they are kind of past. So this one especially, this one here. And these were transplanted over to the corner. They grew on their own from some chicken feed that we had last year. And I just decided to transplant them and see what would happen. And they all came up and bloomed. This one's really pretty. Love this one. And they are doing exactly what I wanted, which is attracting all the bees. So that was their purpose, and they are serving their purpose. This one was really big down in there. That one passed, but these just bloomed. There's a bee now. Oh. All right, now right at my feet is my last tomato plant, which is so tiny and sad. This is the beefsteak tomato. You might be wondering why it's so little at this point. And that's actually because this is the third round of planting it. The first round they didn't come up. The second round I accidentally weeded. I plucked it on accident. It was tiny. I was just so mad. And then this is round 3. I don't think we're gonna get a tomato from this year. It just doesn't have the time to catch up to the rest of the plants, but it's trying. So that's it there. It's just over here by itself. And then if you look a little bit beyond there, I have my onions. So this was my first year doing these, and this one looks pretty good. The one behind it is very little, and then the one behind that is littler still. So this one looks like it might be the only one that we actually get. And I don't know how close this is to harvesting. I've got to do some research because, again, I've never done onions, but these are sweet yellow onion. It's doing all right. These had a very, very slow start. It's finally taking off. So right over next to the onion here in the back are my 3 pepper plants. And again, these are really small. They took a very long time. Oh, that is a huge earthworm. Oh my goodness. Look how big he is. Hey, buddy. You keep right on going, please. Please populate the garden. I'm okay with that. Anyway, so there are 3, like I said. 1, 2, 3. Planted 4, only 3 came up, but that's all right. I'll take it. But like I was just saying, they are really slow to grow. I don't know if we'll get peppers off them. I don't think they're gonna get big enough in time, but again, these don't love a lot of damp soil. Last year I actually had to hold off on watering them at times because they were just like getting too much water. So with all this rain, these have just not been growing at a good rate. Fingers crossed that they kind of maybe take off like the onion did, but I don't have a lot of faith. But they did come up, so I'll give them that. And then right behind them, or in front of them I should say, is my last cherry tomato plant. And this thing came up completely random in the middle of the garden. Last year when we finished with cherry tomato season, the plant that I had in here, I kind of let it just drop the rest of its tomatoes in the dirt. And I think that this is what we got. So, you know, it's producing, even though it's little. So that's pretty cool. But I did not plant this. I just want to be clear. And it's just smack in the middle of the garden. Right to the side of that rogue cherry tomato plant is my 1 head of igloo lettuce that's growing so slowly. but surely. It's the only one that came up of the ones I planted. And look at it, it's just so little and tiny and cute. This is my hand next to it. I mean, it's tiny. I don't know, we'll see. I guess I could harvest that, right? Okay, so these are my snap peas. These are situated right behind this front cherry tomato plant that came up by itself here. These have done probably the best, if not second best, of the whole garden. They just keep producing. Like, this continues to grow up. The bottom of the plant was starting to die. As you can see, this is all like withering away. But even like this one is now producing more here, like little flowers and stuff. Like, there's gonna be another pea pod on one of these. And I'm just amazed at how well these have done. They came up right away. They've just been growing and growing and growing. Like, as you can see, I had to stake them up further because they were just growing so tall. But the plant is just so healthy and green and producing just so regularly. I picked some pea pods yesterday, but here are some. So here's one. As you can see, that one's pretty little. And this one above it's pretty little, but I would give it maybe 2 days and those will be ready to harvest, and they're just all over the place. I'm just glad to say that I have something that did well. So beyond that, we're gonna move over to this front corner and then we'll work our way back. So this was supposed to be my lavender. There's nothing here, unfortunately. It just did not grow. I tried twice to plant and nothing ever came up. And I think it just has to do with how damp everything is. Right behind it is my mess of potato plants. So these are in the process of like drying out and dying, which I read I need to let them do that before I harvest. They are Yukon Gold potatoes. And I've actually already harvested one because I was testing to see like how they were doing. I'd say these are probably the most successful of the garden, with the peas coming in second, or they're pretty even, honestly. So right next to it are 2 rogue sunflowers. These came up on their own. This is the biggest one in the whole garden. Look at her, she is magnificent. She's huge. She's not super tall, but she's big. Like, if I put my hand up next to her, she is big and so pretty. And then right next to her is her little buddy and some bees. I didn't plant any sunflowers this year, guys. These were all just in the garden. And behind them, so I'm just gonna move back here, we have my sweet alyssum. I mean, look at this. It's so, so pretty. And honestly, next year I want to edge my entire garden in it. I think that would just be so pretty to just do like the whole perimeter in this. What do you guys think? I just think that would be awesome, and it would just benefit the garden so much. Like, again, it's attracting pollinators. Like, that's what we want. Sorry if you can hear my child screeching in the background. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear that or not, but he's very vocal today. Anyway, last bit of the garden, this part of the garden, is my dill. So in the back here, so I've got 2 plants here that are smaller. These are honestly like ready to go. Like, I think I can harvest them at any point. They're actually starting to get a little brown in places, so it's probably time that I harvest these. And then next to it is the big kahuna, which flowered and just did so out of completely nowhere. It was so fast how it happened. It just shot up and flowered. Like, I feel like it was like within 3 days. And so I had to do some research. I didn't know what to do with this. I've learned that I can get seeds from this now, I believe. I don't know if I'm gonna do that or not. I'm amazed at how huge it is. Like, for reference, my fencing is about 2 feet tall. I mean, it's well over that. It's probably closer to 3 feet tall. It's just massive. But yeah, it's dill. It started out as a little plant like down there, and then boom, just became this, and there was no stopping it. So we're gonna walk out of the garden now. I'm gonna come over the fence, and I'm going to bring you guys over to our blueberry bush, just on the edge of the yard here. So it's already turning, as you can see. We actually picked this up from the Agway recently because it was on sale. I believe it had already bore fruit for the year, but the idea is that it will grow and get bigger and become kind of a perimeter plant. We want to have berries all along this perimeter, so hopefully that's the case. Hopefully it sticks around. If not, we'll get another one next year and try again, because this one was a little bit late that we brought it home, but that is that. And then if I walk over to the right here, I will show you the pumpkins. So I planted 4, 3 came up, and 1 got eaten. So we have 2. So here's the first one. And then about 4 feet this way, we have number 2. And you're gonna say, what the heck? Why are they so far behind? And it's because I planted them super late. Planted them in July because of all the rain. And we're just gonna see where they get to by the fall. Last year, my pumpkins were done growing super early. We had them in early fall. We had them in like September. So I'm hoping that because I waited a little bit longer this year, they will actually land perfectly like end of October for us to have like carving pumpkins or something. But I'm estimating, I mean, last year I got about 5 pumpkins on 1 plant, I believe, or maybe it was like 3 and 2. I don't know, I think maybe we got like 5 to 7 total, which is plenty. So between the 2 plants, I'm hoping to get quite a few. We will see. I would have preferred to have 4 plants, but hey, we can't have it all, I guess. So as you can see, not terrible. Of course, I had big dreams about having all of these cucumber plants that I could then take my dill plant and I could make pickles just straight out of my garden. That obviously hasn't happened. I am getting cucumbers now, as you guys probably saw, but not really enough for me to warrant making pickles. Like, I'm using those for my salads and stuff during the day, but there's not like an abundance of cucumbers like I was hoping. So what actually ended up happening is our lovely neighbor, she brought over like a harvest basket for us of cucumbers and tomatoes and basil and flowers. It was so nice. And she brought us like 20 cucumbers. So I ended up making pickles with the dill from my garden and the cucumbers from hers. They're not pickling cucumbers, they're bigger, but they still worked, obviously. And so I looked up a little quick, easy recipe online and I made some pickles. So I filmed myself doing that. I'm gonna put that in here and show you guys the process. It's been a week since I made them and I haven't checked them. I've just been like keeping myself busy and like not checking them because I'm like so excited to try them, but I'm gonna try to give them like 2 weeks in the fridge. But yeah, that was about a week ago today. So check out this footage now and let me know what you think. Have you guys ever made pickles and what do you suggest putting in there? Because I did a really basic dill and garlic recipe, but I would love to know what you guys put in your homemade pickles if you make homemade pickles. Let me know down below. Alright guys, so I just thought I would pop on real quick and show you what I am doing while making some pickles. This was supposed to be a video on my channel this summer because I was growing dill and I was growing pickling cucumbers and I thought I would make like a whole video about making pickles for the first time. And unfortunately my cucumbers haven't done super well, so I have not made that video. However, our neighbor, she brought over some cucumbers and tomatoes for us. This is the bag. I mean, there are so many down there, guys, that I just had to use these to make the pickles instead because there's no way I can eat this many cucumbers myself. So this dill is from my garden, so that's good. And then these are her cucumbers from her garden, and I just love that. We're kind of combining our stuff, and I'm hoping to offer her some pickles once these are done. But as you can see, I already started to cut them into spears and I have a brine on the stove. 1 second. This is actually about to come off because it's in a rolling boil, which is where I'm supposed to bring it to. I'm gonna just take that off the heat real quick. But this was vinegar, water, salt, and sugar, and I'm just boiling that up, getting that ready, and then I need to let it cool down to room temp before putting it in my jars. So I just turned this down. I'm gonna pull it off the heat. All right, so while that's cooling, we're gonna go back over here and we're gonna just work some more on all of this. I did not buy peppercorns. I did not buy pickling spice. I could not find pickling spice to save my life. So we're just going with this and we're gonna see how these taste, and then I'm gonna tweak my recipe as time goes on and add different things. It smells amazing in this little corner and I'm very excited to see how these come out. So I've got 5 16-ounce jars of pickles here. So each one took a cucumber. So I halved the cucumbers and then I cut them into spears. So I basically quartered them from there. And then I just put the dill and the garlic cloves in each one. I don't know if I have enough dill. I probably could have picked more, but I didn't want to overpick and then have my plant not produce anymore. So this is what we're starting with. I'm going to see how these do and then I'll adjust from there. I'm going to ladle this once it's cooled. It has to cool to room temp. I'm going to ladle this into these jars. And then I bought some lids because these jars actually I already had. I just didn't have lids. So we bought lids yesterday, and then I'm gonna store these out in the refrigerator in our garage for at least a week and then come back and try them out. I don't know if I'll try them in this video just because I'd like to get this one up sooner or later, but I will report back at some point how these came out and whether I will be making them again. Okay, the brine is pretty cooled down. It's not probably as cooled down as I wanted it to be, but I also need to get ready to go do some other things today, so I'm going to just do this now. I'm going to ladle the brine into each jar and hopefully not make a total mess. We'll see. Okay, so this recipe told me that all 5 of these jars will be filled with brine, and I have to fill over the top of the pickles. So let's see if that holds true. Yeah, this ladle's not gonna work. Not gonna work. All right, I'm taking my measuring cup instead, and I'm gonna just dunk it in because it has a better like spout. Ah, that's better. I could already tell it's definitely gonna be enough, so that's a good thing. I am, in fact, still making a mess. I was wondering why I had so much left, and then I realized that I haven't even put any in this jar, so that would explain it. Okay. So I do have a little bit of brine left over, but that's okay. My pickle spears are not like super tall, so I didn't need to use as much to cover them. So that's all you need to do is be able to cover them. So now I'm just going to put my lids on and get these in the refrigerator and let them sit, and then we will see what we get. So yeah, like I said, they're out in the fridge. I haven't looked at them. I gave one of my friends a jar and I told her like they're not ready, so she's gonna like shove it in the back of her fridge and forget about it, because I was like, give it some time. But she's really excited to try them too. And I'll have to let you guys know how they come out and if I recommend that recipe that I found online. If so, I will link it in like a future video. I'm not gonna link it yet because if it's not good, then I don't wanna recommend it. But yeah, first time making pickles. It was really fun, really easy, but I'm nervous. I don't know. I just hope they come out good because I love pickles. Love them. That is it for the update right now. Like nothing too crazy. Well, other than the fact that we now have someone else living with us. I guess that's a big change, but otherwise, I just wanted to catch you guys up. It's been a crappy summer. We're coming into fall now, which is like my favorite season, and it's gonna be fair season, and we have just a lot of things going on per usual. Hopefully I can get some good footage of it all. I'm so sorry that this channel has become so sparse with content. I just wish I had more time to get stuff up there for you, but I try to share what I can, and I hope you guys are enjoying what I do put out. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like lifestyle content, if you like new mom content, I guess, I have some plans for that for sure, I promise, coming up. I just didn't want to put them too close together, so I'm trying to sprinkle stuff in between. So if you like that type of content, definitely subscribe. Homemaking stuff, event planning, first birthday's coming up, so excited. So yeah, if you like any of that stuff, Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I thank you all again so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!